Why are you being cheeky? I don't know. The fact that they read some material is not necessarily boding well. Alrighty, here we go. Now it's time for some reflection. That's the name of our new side story, so let's see how this starts. Am I bothering you? I don't know, Monica. Are you? No. Okay, just checking. Sorry to tell since you always look so into it when you're reading. It makes me scared to interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself that I don't like it. That makes sense. I guess if you're here in the first place, then you're more ready to socialize, and it takes a little bit of prodding. It's not so bad to be social if it lets others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself in a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know anyone, or if there's too many people or everyone's being too silly for me to keep up with. Yuri glances around the room at Sayori and Natsuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of a cookie that Natsuki is lobbing into the air, but the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor. Maybe I should say something. Yeah. No need, they just ran out of a cookie. What a waste. What is this? They've really become good friends, haven't they? I'm happy. Sarah seems particularly good at making that happen, but the two of them are both on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Yeah, come to think of it, you and I haven't had many chances to talk one-on-one, have we? Though that may be partially my fault since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members. Not at all. I probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. Well, how about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends? I just read. She doesn't have any friends. Oh, but I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you always read fantasy? Oh, not always. I suppose it's all I've read recently, but it's only because I'm in the middle of the series. There's still 2 more books after this one. I guess those long books suit you well since you spend so much time reading. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Like horror? Cute hedgehog face. Oh yeah? Even like romance? Why are you bringing that up? Well, there's some books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri, you know what I mean. So she has read Under the Oak Tree. I don't know. Monica lowers her voice. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell you. So you've read Under the Oak Tree? Have you? I don't know. Seriously, Monica reading... I don't know. I can see Yuri reading that, even though seemingly Natsuki reads stuff like that. Yuri, I guess as long as the story's good, she wouldn't necessarily mind reading through it. But then again, she has a problem with her arm stuff here. Why are you being cheeky? I don't know. The fact that they read some material is not necessarily boding well. Yeah, exactly. Maybe when I was in middle school. Exactly. I mean, I was really lonely and people were mean to me. Oh gosh. What is this episode? I'm already uncomfortable with this one. So it kind of felt like... Please don't make me think about the... Thank you, cheeky Monica. Come on. I'm just super curious. That doesn't bode well. You know, we should totally pick out a romance from there's one cut Under the Oak Tree. Is that enough? I keep mentioning that because I've read it. Is that enough? Absolutely not. Thank you. Well, Under the Oak Tree you could read. Just skip those pieces. Even if it's just between us. Try asking someone that has no shame like Natsuki. Ouch. Dang. Just whipped right out of the corner, didn't you? Sorry, I swear I didn't mean that. Well, I guess it's my fault pressing you. I'm like that for things in my past. Too, you know, things I'm too embarrassed to re-experience. There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me a bit of how intense I used to read about my own interests. Makes me think she would likely grow out of it too. Hey, were you just talking about me? No, we're just talking about how our interests have changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Natsuki? Like a couple years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before, but it wasn't really hard until then. Oh yeah, what was it like that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know. I guess, let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really liked. Yeah, it was just like that. Really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me, wanted to be by myself. Hey, that's kind of like Yuri. Why are you bringing it? Come on! Monika, yes! Why are you doing this? Monika's being what's the word? Well, there's one word I can think of, but I'm not going to say it. She's just being... No, that's not the right word. She's just being... trolly? What's the word? Come on. Sorry, that's completely wrong. So, it's still cool that you both found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they helped you a lot through hard times. You know it. Well, what the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last one you were reading? It's technically slightly longer, but not very, very much. How high do you think it would be if you stacked up the whole series? Natsuki has somebody holding her head high above her head, sizing up an imaginary stack. I should get one of these mangas that's like 50 volumes long so I could say I've read more than you. Not that I have money for that. Please, that would hardly count when your books only have a few words per page. I know, I was just joking. I can never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Yuri shoots a glare at Natsuki. It's not boring. Chill, I said for me, not for you. I can have my opinion, I just think it's too convoluted. Okay, we're getting into problems here. I mean, yes, fantasy can be great. And hey, Natsuki, there's fantasy manga. Technically, I mean, a whole bunch of stuff with manga is fantasy, if you want to get into it. Why does Yuri's hair look like it doesn't suit her in this moment? I don't know what's going on. Put on my glasses. Nope, still for some reason her hair feels off for me for some reason. Yuri, are those from the floor? Were you eating cookies off the floor? Ah, gross. Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books. But my hands aren't dirty. Just do it. The oils are even there even if you can't see them. Fine. Yuri trots out the door and Natsuki follows. Yuri, you look a little upset. What kind of nerve is she has to call my hobby boring? Well, she did correct herself. Hardly, she was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows how much she's well mean to me, so how about just leaving me alone so needlessly tell me things you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they like and don't like. Especially in a literature club, so I should figure out how to mediate discussions to keep them positive and constructive. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books, and thus your ability to get them through so quickly. Thank you. Okay, well, that is something I have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some common ground with you. With her cheeky face here. Common ground isn't necessary, I just wish to be respected. That then. Either way, I'll do my best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. I trust you, Monika, but I'm skeptical. I was going to say, was that the end of the first thing? Okay, so, still going on. Okay, everyone. We have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is a place where we can share things that we're really passionate about. That also means we should be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into positive energy for each other. Aren't you being a little dramatic about this? This is important to me. Oh, sorry, I just feel like I'm being accused of something. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. I'm sorry if I came off that way. But our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language. I thought it'd be a good topic for the Literature Club, don't you think? This is a self-therapy game. This is the total opposite of the last game where there was drama and conflict. This one is all buns and roses and everything else. It's like that creature from the Dr. Seuss movie of like, they all eat rainbows and poop butterflies. That's what that's what this game is. Everything is so hunky-dory and happy. Whereas the main game is death and mental health and fatigue and everything. Come on, man. I'm sure we're going to have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere at the club. If you say so. Sure. With this face, how can you say no? The cool thing about language is that it gives us a lot of different ways to express the idea or emotion. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel when we receive our thought. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically everything. And this I agree with. For example, sorry, what's your favorite food? I have them organized by category. Should I start with snacks or do you mean full meals? Should I include breakfast? Oh jeez. I didn't know you were categorized foods, Sayori. Okay, how about your favorite fruit? That's easy, cherries. Really? I always thought cherries tasted nasty. What? Cherries are delicious. Well, that's a pretty strong reaction. Well, I just don't understand how anyone could think cherries are nasty. How does it make you feel? I don't know, sad? Defensive, maybe? Yeah, I got defensive. See, the reason you had strong reactions was because I don't like cherries. Because you felt your opinion was under attack. Well, that's weird, right? Something like taste, you should put quotations around that, is completely subjective. But when I say something that I think cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Story's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that cherries are nasty. Wait, hold on. How is that objective when you just said it was only your own opinion? It has to do with the way our brains interpret the words. You're talking about the reality of cherries, not your feelings about them. Isn't that the same thing? Like Sayori. Let's rewind for a second. Pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty. Good. So what if I instead said, like, I've tried cherries and they're not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I enjoy. Well, that's fine, as long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word. Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it's the point across. You're just being adorable, Monika. So adorable with your conflict. This time around, instead of talking about cherries, I just talked about my feelings, and sorry didn't get defensive. So instead of clashing with each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't like to take notes. I'm not going to quiz you or something. I know that. I was just, sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you'd like. But does everyone have any thoughts so far? Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings. Isn't that what you want to happen to you, Natsuki? Seriously, why does her hair just seem so off to me? Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours and how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting it as a tool to help turn your differences into a positive experience rather than an argument. Right, Sayori? Whatever you say, cherry hater. Oh, come on. You brought this on yourself! Sayori, I actually like cherries. I was just saying that to help demonstrate. What the heck? I've been duped. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you later. You have to get her cherry pie. How about a cherry sundae? Or cherry ice cream, that'll work too. You're welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president. What? Buying your people's loyalty, how deplorable. Oh, you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You were certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week. I was ready to not keep a track of them. Oh, that's enough, we're getting off topic. This was the topic! So now that we've got the gist of it, how about we try something more relevant to the club? Like manga, right? Let's try to have a productive discussion about our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start? Well, I'd rather not, no. Oh, how come? Well, because I don't see how anything productive can come from that. It's just going to start a fight. No, it'll be fine, that's why I'm here to moderate. This is causing problems, Monika. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion. Yeah, give me a little bit more credit. I'm not a child and you have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind. Okay, fair enough. Respectable? Yuri's expression changes at the word. As Monika recalls, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri. Well, the point of the exercise isn't exactly like, it's fine. I have nothing against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material. I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated but beyond the surface level. Not that I've read really a lot of manga. I've picked up like 2 books and glanced through them in my life, but just through, if children's stories like Dr. Seuss can express ideas and everything, any type of literature can express certain ideas and have nuance to them, whether it be fantasy, whether it be sci-fi, whether it be... And manga is just books. There's different types of manga. I mean, you see all the animes, they're all based on manga. There's One Piece, there's Dragon Ball Z, there's, I don't know, a whole bunch of things I don't even know about. But I guarantee you, manga is just the book. And it's like fantasy is the book. The type of book, the type of genre defines what type of book it is. You have fantasy, sci-fi, you have cross genres where it goes across in the middle, different things like it's horror and fantasy or romance and fantasy. It can be the same with manga. It's the same thing. Goodness. Oh, well that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were going to say that manga's for children or something. I don't hear enough of that. But there's plenty of deep manga. I'm not clueless about manga. I've read my own fair share when I was younger. What? Are you serious? How come you never told me? Because I'm past that point in my life and I really prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things now. Excuse me? I mean, It was fine until she said mature things. She's saying it's still not mature. But you were just saying you haven't heard of that enough, Natsuki. I don't know. Okay, hold on. Can I jump in here? Let's try to keep things subjective. I mean, it was... All Natsuki has to do is supposed to get offended is just say, why don't you think they're mature? That's all she has to say. Why don't you think they're mature? That's it. Because if you imply that manga is immature, then aren't you implying that someone is immature for being into it? Yes. Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you. Natsuki, nobody's immature. See, this is what is causing fights. I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love them both in their own way. Okay. It's great that you like it, but I still don't find it boring. Boring isn't subjective. Okay, it bores me. That's subjective. But, I mean, the thing about... This is ridiculous. You see why I didn't want to participate in this? I knew it was just going to make people upset. I'm not upset. Yes, you are. Like I said, I don't care what other people... You obviously do care what other people think! But I always got the impression that you secretly looked down upon me, so I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed. Oy vey. That's not true at all. You're making assumptions. Are they, though? You both hate each other. Gosh. You can't blame me for getting defensive when nobody has the least bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me for just being myself and trying to mind my own business. What? Have you looked in the mirror? I mean, okay, you both do the same thing, and Monika's just stuck here in the middle. Tell me again about respect, about calling my own interests immature. You can't... Please stop. Please. You don't mean all the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends. I hate to say it, Sarah, but not everyone's going to be friends in life. I didn't mean for this to happen. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try and solve other people's problems next time, okay? Yuri's piercing words in the clubroom into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves. Holy crap. I never heard her sound like that before. She must be so pissed. Well, you weren't very nice either, so I was just saying. How did this happen? It's Monika's fault. It's my fault. Good. You took accountability. Yuri wasn't wrong. I shouldn't have tried to moderate conflict when I know how bad I am at dealing with conflicts. It's a really stupid thing for me to do. No, I wouldn't say it was stupid. It was just... I don't know. It would have to get brought up eventually, because you have a club and you have to moderate. It's nobody's fault, and it wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club's a nice person. I wouldn't have expected this. But I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love. Honestly, she kind of brought it upon herself. Like I said, I don't care if you're not in a manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it, that's kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's not about sugarcoating things. It's about just recognizing and understanding our differences. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Yuri actually looks down on me. It has nothing to do with her word choice or anything like that. So I see what you're trying to do, but I think the problem here is her, not just like we talk to each other, right? Not just the way we talk to each other, right? Well, you look at her, too. So you two opposites, and they're going to clash. I mean, Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than what you're giving her credit for. I'm sure she'll be reflecting on this. That's the word of this thing. I actually think everyone should. It'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Wow, I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm just setting myself up to cause more problems. That wasn't your fault, Monika. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you're asking me, it's a good thing the truth finally came out, because I can just move on now. But, it's fine, I promise. Let's just get our mind off this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about feeding Yuri's superiority complex. Don't get yourself all high and mighty here, Natsuki. Don't be mean. I'll talk or read manga or whatever I want, but don't be mean to my friends, okay? Sorry, I'm just bitter. Everything will be okay. I mean, I don't have the answers, but at least I know we're good people and we don't want to hurt each other. This will be a learning experience. Monika says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force a reassuring tone in her voice. This is bound to happen eventually. Suki and Yuri have always engaged with each other the least out of everyone in the club, and this is the reason. Yuri and Suki proceed to distract themselves in manga. Monika sighs herself and needles shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really come to the terms that in fact some members will be incompatible with each other? Monika desperately doesn't want to admit that, and she knows Yuri doesn't either, but it's true. But for once, a solution doesn't seem to be in sight. Done. And I have mail. Side stories. Ria Vorte. Thank you very much. We worked hard to control the simulation. I can't imagine the tedious must be to delicately hide Monika's elevated permissions from her without disrupting our connection to the virtual machine, or whatever it is. Just to clarify, all the recordings labeled started as part of the controlled simulation, right? I know some details of the characters' lives here that differ a little bit from those in VM1, even trivial ones. Is it part of the butterfly effect for some of Monika's more fundamental changes, or is it a result of her messing around with the other characters in VM1 as her own experiment, or for fun? So if I'm keeping track, or we have like, what, 5 different universes in total, with 3 or 4 of them created and then destroyed by Monika, of course. It's funny because I keep wanting to speculate on which one is the real universe, but in reality, they all are. As real as ours is, anyway. So, Monika's real, and there are alternate realities and everything else, right? Is that what we're getting at? Is this what... I do like this song, but what was it? The first time I heard it was when Monika was having problems. I don't know. Well, I'm going to be playing part 2 soon, so come back when I play Reflection. That'll give a lot more detail. Part 2, of course, Reflection. Alright, see you next time. Bye.